Hi guys, let's talk about Starliner again. Before we go any further, make sure to click like and subscribe. That way you'll get to see more content like this. Also, to help other people find this content. You can also join my Patreon, and be links down below, and a reminder at the end of the video. For now, enjoy the rest of the video. So if you've been paying attention to the news, Starliner is currently docked to the ISS. Now, when I made my last video, I kind of took a little too long to make it and wasn't really paying attention, and apparently Starliner launched like 7 hours after I posted that video. So here's the situation. Starliner launched with one helium leak, and by the time they made it to the ISS, they sprung four more, and now they have 5 helium leaks. So what exactly does it mean to have a helium leak on Starliner? Well, first of all, the leaks themselves aren't on the capsule. The capsule apparently doesn't have any thrusters. The thrusters are on the command module. The command module is going to burn up in the atmosphere. It's not coming back. But the command module is what has, well, all of the thrusters and some avionics and, whatever else they have. So once the Starliner separates from the command module, it's coming home. I mean, it's home or death at that point. Let's talk about the thrusters, because that's what the helium leaks are affecting. Now, in a fuel tank, like on your car, on that truck that just drove by, we're in gravity. So the fuel collects at the bottom of the tank, and the fuel pump can just pick it up from there. In space, okay, technically there's still gravity in space. You have like 87% of your gravity in ISS orbit, 87% of your weight, whatever. It's just because you're in orbit and you're falling just as fast as you're moving sideways, blah, 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 whatever. You pick an inertial frame of reference that puts you in the spacecraft, and there's no gravity. That's why we say there's no gravity in space. So, if there's no gravity in space, you don't have the fuel collecting at the bottom of the tank. How's the fuel pump supposed to grab it? Well, the answer is you pressurize the tank. You use an inert gas, such as helium, to pressurize the tank to push all the fuel up against wherever the fuel pump is, so that it can grab the fuel from there and pump it out to the thruster, where it's going to go through a reaction. I believe they are hypergolic thrusters, which means there's an actual reaction that happens in there. One that doesn't require like electricity or anything. You put these two chemicals together and they go bang. But some sources say that the helium itself is the reaction mass. I haven't bothered to verify any of that because it doesn't really matter. Either way, helium leak is bad. So what does this mean for Starliner to come home? Well, the first thing, we need to look at what they've been doing. Besides delaying the mission, meaning I've had plenty of time to make this video. I probably have more time before Starliner is actually coming home. Last I heard, it's delayed until, I want to say the 26th, maybe the 23rd. So after they docked with the ISS, they decided to use the flight control systems in the ISS to measure the thrusters on the Starliner. So they went one by one, firing each thruster, and determined that 7 out of 8 of them worked fine. The 8th one they had to shut down. And the most recent source I read said it's a software problem. No surprise, software problems was what screwed up the first Starliner launch. Software problems are what's causing this 737 MAX to crash randomly in the ocean and just fall out of the air. Hatches flying off in the middle of an aircraft flight, that's not a software problem, but it's still a problem. And I can't help but look at what Starliner's been going through and think, whatever the rot is that has sank into Boeing over the last 15 years has made it into Starliner. I said in my last video that they needed to make this an unmanned launch. I'm standing by that. Because if it was unmanned, right now, they could go ahead and bring Starliner back. No further testing is needed. Make sure they collect all the data that they need to be able to fix these problems for the next launch, of course. And they've already done that. And they say that they've already done what they need to be sure that they can bring those 2 people back. And I believe them. But I saw the Challenger live on TV. And I remember the Columbia, and I remember the first Starliner launch. I think they're going to make it, but I really feel like the culture of risk that apparently dominated the space shuttle program is still there unnecessarily. If Boeing had launched this unmanned, they wouldn't have to worry about bringing the two people back. They could just say, now screw it, let's see what happens. Undock, fire their thrusters, separate, see where Starliner ends up. Obviously, they can't do that with two people there. They have to bring those people back somehow. Now, at this point, if I were Elon Musk, I would have another Falcon 9 on the launch pad, ready to go with the Crew Dragon on top, one or two people on standby, ready to hop in, waiting for that call from NASA saying, hey, can you come and get our guys? Starliner's not going to make it. But I don't think Elon Musk is going to do that until NASA tells him he needs to, because if he jumps the gun on it, people are going to be offended, you know. And for once, it does seem like he's actually taking the high road, because Boeing talked a bunch of trash about SpaceX winning any money for the Crew Dragon program. And of course, over the last few years, last 5 years or whatever, Starliner missions have been taken off the schedule and those crews have been reassigned to Crew Dragon. We're not going to do a victory lap here. I'm not even part of SpaceX. I mean, I just want people to come home safely, really. And we're still hoping they're going to come home safely. But the bottom line here, this Starliner launch needed to be unmanned, and now so does the next one. Thank you for watching the video. If you made it this far, you definitely need a like and subscribe. Ring the bell if you want to get notifications. And don't forget to join my Patreon. At some point, when people join my Patreon, this wall is going to be filled with names. Obviously, there aren't any right now. YouTube might be suggesting some videos here for you to watch. You could also do that. Have a nice day.